6th meeting of the West Des Moines City Council to order and invite you all to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, what a night. Please sign in.
Five members present.
Okay, Ryan, have there been any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Your Honor.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as distributed? Okay,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 2, Citizens Forum. Anybody in the audience who would like to address the council on any item that is not either part of public hearings or new business, please come to the podium here, give us your name and address for the record. We ask that you keep it to 5 minutes or under and that you keep it civil and respectful. Okay, not seeing a lot of movement. Anybody online that would like to address the council on Citizens Forum, please hit *6, *6 to unmute yourself. Give us your name and address for the record. Okay, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Citizens Forum is closed. We're going to move on to item 3, Mayor, Council, Manager Report, Other Entities Update. And we're going to start out with item 3A, a presentation of the 2022 Leading the Way Award by the ETC Institute.
They should be
Okay, are you on-
virtual on the Teams
Yep.
call.
ETC Institute, are you there? Hit *6 to unmute yourself, ETC. *6, not the pound sign, but the star. Oh, you don't need to do that. You just need to unmute yourself. Well, there you go. Are you there? Can you hear me now? Okay, we're having technical difficulties. I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back to ETC in a couple seconds here, and we're going to go on with our mayor, council, manager report, and other entities update. We're going to start down here with Councilman Lotz at the end.
Nothing to report, Your Honor.
Okay, going to Councilman Trevelyan.
Nothing to report, Your Honor.
Okay, Councilwoman Hardman, keep it going.
Oh, well,
Just kidding. I'm just kidding, just kidding. Go ahead.
well, okay. I just wanted to indicate that things are going really strong at the Valley Junction Foundation. Got great activities planned for the summer. Just, trying to stay fresh and trying to make sure that we keep our member organization. So strong staff. Steve, you're doing a great job. Lots of great stuff happening with Valley Junction. So we're really proud to be associated with that. And then West Des Moines Chamber is putting on a big event on Wednesday, which I am supporting. In light of Women's Histories Month, they will have their 5th annual Women's Mentoring activity. I think there'll be about 18 women that'll be doing speed mentoring with about 350 to 400 women. I'm happy to be their keynote speaker to help inspire women to do it afraid. And that's really my topic, and to propel and to do it afraid and go places where maybe you're the only one, and go places where you may not be wanted, but go places where you can make a difference. That's my message for tonight.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Moving on to Councilman McKinney.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing at this time.
Okay, Councilman Hudson.
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
All right, moving down to City Manager Tom Haddon. Any report besides the ETC Institute?
Well, there'll be a presentation on the feasibility study. Well, not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
okay.
We'll see if the
Okay.
ETC is next, and then before you you have from Janie Lestring, Katrina doing a great job of tracking the legislation, staying up with it, and working with our.
Oh, hold on, is your mic, can you move your mic down a little bit?
Sorry.
Tom? I'm sorry. There you go.
And working with our staff to provide information that's always needed at the instant they request it. very challenging. So, but when you have a chance, look this over, you have questions, give Jamie a call. And our committee, of course, Matt and Kevin are informed of what's going on, and so just,
Awesome.
just so you know that's going on. And then, I don't know, I think ETC may be back online.
Be back, ETC,
whatever
are
it's
you
at.
there? We cannot, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
They're not through me.
Can you unmute? It looks like you're muted.
It looks like it's unmuted. I'm not sure if it's an
Oh, really?
IT issue that the sound's not coming
Yeah.
out here.
Can you try
Can
speaking
anyone hear
again?
me now?
Yes, yes,
You can hear me?
yes.
Okay, great. So I don't know what was going on, but I'm glad, sorry about that. Well, my name is Jason Murado, and I'm the Director of Community Research at ETC Institute. And today I'd like to recognize the City of West Des Moines for winning the Leading the Way Award for the second time. West Des Moines first won this award the last time we conducted your survey in 2020. And ETC Institute's been conducting community surveys for city and county governments for over 40 years. And in 2020, we finally decided that we should create an award that recognizes the highest performing communities all across the country. So in 2020, we created the Leading the Way Award. And this award recognizes local governments who rate in the top 10% of all local governments across the country in 3 core areas of ETC Institute's Direction Finder survey. And those are how satisfied residents are with the overall quality of services that are provided by the city, how satisfied residents are with customer service that's provided by city employees, and how satisfied residents are with the value they receive for local taxes and fees. So when we conducted the City of West Des Moines community survey last year, not only did you rate significantly above the national average in all 51 areas that we compared on the survey, but you rated in the top 10% of all communities across the country in those 3 core areas, which is overall satisfaction with city services, customer service, and value residents receive for taxes and fees. So therefore, the City of West Des Moines is a well-deserved, now 2-time winner of the Leading the Way Award. So once again, congratulations to the mayor, city council, city manager, and all city staff on these really outstanding achievements. And this really is an award that everyone should be proud of.
Thank you so much. We are extremely proud of it. A lot obviously goes into it. We've got the greatest staff in the metro and in the state, if not the United States. And they're on the front lines doing the hard work every single day. We've got an incredible city manager, deputy city manager. We are just so thankful and so grateful to have these unbelievable individuals helping us to do what we need to do and keep our citizens happy and satisfied. So thank you so much for all you do for us in measuring how happy or how dissatisfied our citizens are. I think we do this, every other year? And it's a very valuable tool for us to measure how we're doing and then try to improve in various areas. So we are very proud of this award. It is a beautiful, beautiful award. And we are going to, if the council will go down front, we're going to take a picture with the award. We wish you could be here in person, or you had like a flat Stanley cut out of yourself to take the picture with us, but maybe that we'll shoot for it next time, and you can be here to take the picture with us.
Yeah, there's always next time, right? We'll be doing the survey again in a couple of years. Maybe you'll be a 3-time winner next time.
Well, we're gonna strive for it. So thank you so much for the award. It's a huge honor, and we're gonna go down front and take a picture. So thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Come on, Jamie. Come up here, Jamie. Come on, Jamie. Come down here.
I'm not in any of the other.
You gotta get in here. All right. Tom, you come in the middle and hold it. That's great. You come in the middle.
Everybody, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Now take a couple, just to make sure everybody's eyes are open. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. Good work by you and your entire staff. Isn't that beautiful?
No, don't you have a trophy?
We're looking at a trophy case.
I'll put it in my trophy case, so it'll be the only one there.
Tom, we'll make a belt buckle out of it for you.
You want an Oscar?
You have some foosball participation
Okay,
trophies, don't you, Russ?
Moving on, I do want to say one thing before we go to the brief presentation here on the feasibility study that was done, but I did get the opportunity to attend the Double V presentation that was led by Al Womble in an event that was put on by Audrey Kinnis. It was an incredible event. It really was a perfect way to end Black History Month. Just one of the most interesting presentations highlighting the achievement of African Americans in the armed forces and everything that they did to help the United States in different conflicts and whatnot, and what they faced, not only in the armed forces, but also in everyday life. And we also had a group of panelists that gave us some of their experiences, both in the military and things that they face, obstacles and hurdles that they have in everyday life. And it was just a very eye-opening and incredible presentation. So I applaud Audrey and Al Womble and everybody that helped put that on. And then we also did have a ribbon-cutting ceremony for Bix and Company. Got to meet Bix himself, who's quite a character. And Bambi and her son have got an incredible new restaurant, bar. It's like a sports bar in Valley Junction. It's on the end there. I can't wait to see the place when there's music in the junction. With the 75-person patio that they have out there, you better get there early to get a seat. But it's just another great addition to Valley Junction. So we got to keep that momentum going. With that, if you want to come up and give the presentation on, I guess it's the feasibility study of the Water Park Hotel Convention Center that we are looking to bring to the city of West Des Moines, which, as you know, is going to be a huge game changer. I hate to tell you, but.
Mayor and City Council, Clyde Evans, Community and Economic Development Director. I want to introduce Charlie Johnson with Johnson Associates, who did the feasibility analysis for us. And Charlie has a very brief slide deck to present to the council.
Thank you. Thank you, Clyde. My name is Charlie Johnson, president of Johnson Consulting, and my address is 6 East Monroe Street, Chicago, Illinois. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. This is a big project and just very helpful for me to have worked with the city. I mimic ETC's comments. Having worked with your staff was very seamless for us. So I'll go ahead and get started. Our objective was really to test assumptions, answer the question, will this project be feasible? What kind of, should the city be even contemplating participation in the convention center and parking? And so we've exhaustively gone through that. Our firm is independent. We're a third party. We have no vested interest in this. But we also spend a lot of time in Iowa. We've worked on the new soccer stadium that's proposed. We've worked several occasions in downtown Des Moines and have worked throughout the state. So our job is really to analyze the market, look at case studies, look at your economic situation, and answer the question, will this project perform as proposed? And is it typical for projects to have participation by city governments, et cetera? So we've analyzed that. This is the proposed project. We analyzed 405 rooms and recommendations on the conference center and parking. We understand that now that the project has been upsized a little bit, and they've listened to our recommendations specifically on the sizing of the ballroom component of the convention center. Market-wise, I think the most important thing is the stability of this market and the absence of these types of assets throughout the community. I'm going to show you a slide in a moment that shows you have a structural issue with respect to your mix of business. The Recplex has taken large strides in helping us change that, and this project kind of fits in the same vein, but it helps complement the existing hotels, your shopping, as well as the Recplex, because there will be quite an affinity between the Recplex and this project in my mind. So there are about 19,000 hotel rooms in the market. They offer about 330,000 square feet of meeting space. The largest is in downtown, the Marriott, and it has a lot of meeting space. Your largest is the Sheraton, and it doesn't have a lot of meeting space. So you have great businesses here, a lot of meetings-oriented businesses. They really don't have any place to meet when that Sheraton is full and is being used for the way it's supposed to operate. So you're missing capacity. And that expresses itself in your occupancy. We like to see a healthy hotel market is usually in the 65 to 75% range. You historically have averaged in the low 60s. So what that tells me is you're missing a couple pistons. You're missing perhaps a tourism piston, and you're perhaps missing a group meetings piston. And when you look at the round out of the downtown Des Moines market, it's a little more balanced. And so what we're trying to suggest to you is that with the Recplex has already started adding to your market, the convention center will add another layer. So I would think if the supply doesn't boom, which we oftentimes see by water parks, there are a few other hotels that often want to come in and kind of live off of that. And the same thing with the sports complex and the water park. So we oftentimes see multitude of hotels, but I think through city management and approvals, you could kind of control that, but you should lift your market occupancy substantively. As we look at the market, I think it's two things that are important to note. One is, this market kind of reminds me of Overland Park, Kansas, in terms of how smooth it operates and, how family-oriented it is. And they built a beautiful convention center and hotel, and they actually own both, the hotel and the convention center. So that's kind of what shows you one extreme of participation. But this market doesn't have a second venue. You have Prairie Meadows, the casino, that's small size, and then you have the Iowa Event Center downtown. But I think as you look around the country, and we've illustrated this, most markets have one or two buildings. Some of them will be the fairgrounds, which is fairly small in this market, but it's a different role. This facility is supposed to serve as a tourism role, as well as support the businesses and the social community that's here. So it's a little different role. And as we look at the market, if we were going to do a second or third venue in this market, we want it to complement everything that's here. So we've talked to Catch Des Moines. We've analyzed the market. We've analyzed the statistics by the developer and conclude that, yes, this is appropriate for this market to have a second venue. And we recommend something in the 40 to 60,000 square foot range. The development community developers proposed 30,000. We've encouraged the 40,000. So as you all visualize the participation, we want to make sure there's an expansion plan or something else that helps you make sure that protects your interests. That's my job, is to help you protect yourselves. This kind of gives I think people ask the question, is the meetings industry going to be valid still after COVID? And it's our opinion that it's almost restored, and by 2024, maybe the large exhibitions like at McCormick Place won't be, but we're seeing the business cycle start using conventions and conferences more. So, you know, the fear of COVID killing the industry shouldn't exist, because this is a medium for continuing education and all the things that your insurance companies and your high-tech companies all need to have. So this is a collateral investment to that. I think that the true strength to this market is the absence of competition, combined with the fact that you're so stable and family-oriented. So you have Jordan Creek here, almost a mile down the hill, you have the Recplex, and right across the street would be the proposed water park and convention center. You know, I do anticipate the evolution of other hotels, so you're going to have quite a package there. You know, I think it's going to be, you know, Omaha does not have a second venue. So instead of your kids having to go to Omaha or Kansas City or other markets for these types of activities, you're going to be reversing that equation and bringing people here. So they're still going to be going back and forth, but now there's a fourth to come back to. And you didn't have that before. I think the other thing that is so apropos for this market is the fact that you have meeting space that will really help your insurance industry, as well as the other sectors that you have here. So something like that is really important. It's often not thought of when you have a hotel, water park, and conference center, but we have found the success at water park convention centers to be very high. You know, there's an attractiveness quotient that doesn't exist with a normal convention center. The moms and dads get to come, and the kids get to come, so it really is kind of very consistent with what your community is all about. Our concern or our hope is we have seen developers make promises and not execute. So from a risk management standpoint, you know, that's really your job, but we did talk to the developers, and they seem to be very seasoned and really understand the land uses. So from that perspective, we're very comfortable. We want to make sure it's reflective of the Recplex. And so when it's full and there's a need for hotels, we want the management company of the hotel to really be thoughtful of, you know, prioritizing and helping serve the Recplex growth. All right, and you know that's important. So we've recommended that a community benefits agreement speak to the points that we have on the slide here, just to make sure we reinforce the fact that it serves the benefit of the city. All right, and so we've given you quality advice in respect to that. With respect to recommendations, it's our judgment that a project like this would be very consistent with the economic development goals of the community. It would also be very consistent with complementing the assets that you have. It's a new $30 million business. And, you know, so every year, $30 million are going to be spent by the operation itself. That doesn't include the visitation expenditures that I'm going to be speaking of in just a moment. But it is our judgment that this type of project will complement a couple ways. One, it'll do a service to the overall community in the state by offering something that should exist in a community this sophisticated and large. Secondly, I think that the most important thing you'll be able to see is just the individual souls of children and adults and all those people using this facility. I mean, your resident market is very strong. You have a kid-oriented community, and this kind of project, there will be a local pass program developed. So this is kind of just like the Recplex. It's another amenity and activity for the community. I think that the other point is reflecting that you'll be adding a second version of this. Your hotels all pay to Catch Des Moines now. They want to sell more events in this community. They're part of your marketing equation, and you'll be lifting their budget, and hopefully you'll capture that and develop a marketing relationship and agreement with them to help market this and the community overall. The 20,000 square feet that was originally proposed really had some technological deficiencies because you couldn't lay out courts. And I think one of the real things that this project does allows you to have a convention center, but also during peak times when you have sporting events, it could be additional surfaces. So we wanted to make sure that the size optimizes the surfaces if the city was going to participate in this. And we felt so upsizing it a little bit. And we also recommend that you contemplate expansion someday into the future. So those are advices that we give you from painful experience. We also looked at parking. Big picture, we think that the market needs about 700 plus or minus spaces. It can play there depending on the adjacency. So a deck of that size would be apropos. So you can get by with probably 650, but increasing that, I think with the joint operation, you're going to need to have those parking spaces, and participation by the city is not inconsistent with our experience in other markets. Booking policy is going to be important for you to consider. What's important to the city? Make sure that that's a priority, and that would be room nights, conventions, rather than social functions and things where the hotel will make money. So you have a booking policy where those would be a priority, and then after dates come, you release the dates and you can go after anything within reason. I don't know how the structure is going to exist, whether you're going to have, but that lease agreement should be something that protects you all. You know, we see hotels sell the assets, right, after they got it stabilized. How does the city maintain that relationship? So a variety of things like that we've provided counsel on. And lastly, I think that, this setting here is wonderful. I think that setting around other assets that you have should also be wonderful, and also should have some respect to the city's goal if they're going to participate in that. And we help suggest using a community benefits agreement. And what that really does, it provides you with protection for yourselves. And so we would work with Clyde in helping do that, but we've given you some guidance and principles in that regard. I think I would like to focus in on this quickly. I think this speaks to the fact that the volume of business that's going to be happening in the marketplace is extraordinary. Water parks are machines that work very high. This kind of illustrates the developer's thought on their economic impact. And I think it's really important here to notice in year 5 about where it says total revenue. That actually illustrates it's almost a $60 million a year business between the hotel, the convention center, and the water park. So that's, if you look at it in comparison to Microsoft or something else, this is a big business that you're entering into. And what that really turns into, we had to look at where the attendees would be coming from. So we think that the water park's going to generate 45% of the business. The convention center is going to be 25%, and the Recplex is going to be, that's the reason we think this hotel is going to be so busy. You have a lot of layers there that don't exist. And the good news is the fact when people come here and there's another convention in town, all of a sudden the compression starts to happen to your other hotels, and that's how your occupancy goes. And that's probably the most important thing this project does, is round your demand curve. Get you that tourism back or additional, as well as the group meetings market. And then you're supporting your existing businesses here as well, and your residents. So big picture, we believe that there will be a direct spending. So you have the $60 million from the hotel, plus you have another $40 to $50 million coming in by the people visiting this attraction, some of which are local. So we scour those out and just try to capture net new dollars to the economy. And the total spend will be at least $150 million. So you have at least double what the new business is going to be spending. That's pretty impressive. That's a big number in terms of scale of other convention centers, just to give you a sense. Tax revenues, like all states, you don't get to capture them all, and the project doesn't get to capture them all. But as you look at the overall spend and the portfolio that this is going to have in relation to Jordan Creek, all the development that's going to happen there, this is going to have an enormous contribution to your tax revenues as well through that portfolio. But also, even if you were to lockbox the taxes that you capture from this, you'll have a payback on convention center and parking in probably about an 11-year period. So so all your taxes that you capture compared to the cost, depending on what the ultimate cost is, will get you payback very quickly. And if it's not as quick as that, you certainly have the portfolio of all those uses where you'll get all those taxes back and then some. I think the last point I'm going to make is employment. It's a very rough time in the hospitality business. And the strategy that we have heard from the developer that some of that housing is going to be oriented towards workforce is going to probably solve part of that problem. And we've also seen the workforces start to stabilize. We still don't get hotel service every night, room service every night, but it's coming back. And I think, the developer is responsible for causing his employment to come to the market. And I think the one distinction is that affordable housing, which is different than we see in most other options. So with that, those are my prepared remarks, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions you have.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to questions. We have time for maybe 5-6 minutes worth of questions. I would say, first I want to start out and ask one question. You talked about our hotel occupancy being about 60%, somewhere in that neighborhood, and then we're talking about adding another hotel, a massive one, and that's going to increase the occupancy rate. It almost seems counterintuitive to some extent.
I was going to use that same word.
Yeah.
What
Talk
you've
about that
done,
a second.
All right, so you saw that. Right now, your preponderance, you're probably 70% business, all right, and 30% leisure and group between the other two. All right, what we're going to help do, what this project will help do is shift that curve from the reliance on the corporate traveler. All right, and it'll also help diversify the weekday versus weekend business, your heavy weekday. All right, and the Recplex is really, I imagine you're starting to see inquiries and improvements in your occupancies already just because of the Recplex. Same concept applies with the water park, and the same concept applies with the convention center.
Okay, and then answer this for me. Charlie, how long have you been in this business? How long have you been doing analyses like this? How many do you think you've done over your lifetime? Give us some comfort. I know that, I've heard you're one of the best in the business, but help us understand that.
The problem is I'm very old. So I've done a lot of projects in my time, and I started my career in this field out of college. And so literally since I've been 21, I've been doing this type of work with hotels, water parks, convention centers, casinos, tourism attractions, and sports facilities. We started our company 27 years ago, and I have staff with me that has been with me almost 20 years. So we're well seasoned on these types of projects.
So how many of these do you think you've done, ballpark? You've done like 30 analyses, 40 analyses?
A year.
A year?
Yeah, we do at least that many a year.
And do you follow back up to see how accurate you were on what you were projecting versus what actually happened?
Yes, on many occasions we do that. You'd be surprised, once we leave a project, sometimes we don't visit it very often, but out of curiosity, we do go back and look at that, and we're pretty darn good.
Well, good. That's good to hear. I guess I would say, obviously I think the world of this project, I think it's going to be massive for our area, for our city, for our region, for our state. In the way of tourism, I think it's going to float all boats. I think all the other hotels are going to benefit. The restaurants are going to benefit. The mall is going to benefit. I really do think this is going to be, I know I say it too much, it's a game changer for us. Working on incentives and whatnot, I think it's extremely important for us to make sure that we're always doing a pay-as-you-go TIF on this. For the residents that maybe don't understand what that is, basically what this does is put all of the risk and onus on the developers themselves. If if this project doesn't generate the increment that they anticipated it would to pay themselves back for some of the things that we can help pay for, then that's on them. They eat that. The taxpayers aren't out anything.
That's how I like this.
And I think that's extremely important. Now, that said, the taxpayers don't own anything either. That said, we don't want to own a convention center and parking garage. Those aren't money makers, okay? Those are loss leaders. You know, if we own those, then we want to own the hotel too. And I don't think we want to own a hotel. So we're going to be very smart in how we go about this. I think we always are. As I said at the beginning of this, we've got great staff who help do additional analysis here, and I look forward to continuing to work on this project. So, okay, any questions for Charlie before we move on?
Yeah, Charlie, thank you so much for presenting. I was looking back at slide 18 or slide 19 on project strategy when it came to booking policy, lease agreements, and community benefit agreements. I would love to just see some more, not tonight, but just see some example community benefit agreements that you've done with other communities, or at least that other communities have made. I would love to see more about those partnerships, because this is a really interesting part. Because if we are really creating a partnership, and I know that the developers in the city, we want to work together because rising tide lifts all boats and whatnot. These specific agreements, I think, could be really beneficial for all going forward. And so I would just love to see some more examples. I don't know if you can send some of those our way. And I bet Clyde is aware of those too. But
Good,
anyway.
I'll work on that and I'll do
Yeah.
that.
That sounds great. And thanks, Clyde, for working with everybody. I know you're doing tons of work behind the scenes. Mr. Mayor, I know you're doing some work behind the scenes as well, just to really see if we can do something amazing here. So, Charlie, thank you for presenting. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Any other questions for Charlie? Okay, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all.
I do want to recognize a couple people who are in the audience, I believe, with us today. They are Justin Scott and Aiden as well. If you could stand. Thank you. Appreciate you guys being here. Mr. McKinney and I are friends with Dave Scott, work with him at the Capitol. I know, Aiden, you're a senior at Valley. I'm assuming you're here for your government class, taking notes. Typically, they look for conflict. I don't know if we're going to have that or not tonight. Maybe Kevin and I will get in a fight afterwards, just for the heck of it. But hey, thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. So, okay, well, you get a good experience up at the Capitol. So, all right. With that, we'll move on to item 4, consent agenda. We will pull item 4C7. And we'll pull item 4N, as in Nancy. Any other items that any council person would like to pull and have a separate vote on?
Move for the remainder.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 4C7, West Grand Golf, Inc., doing business as West Grand Golf, 6450 Raccoon River Drive, special Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service renewal. I believe we've got a member up here that may have a potential conflict of interest, and so I've pulled that one. Does somebody want to move that item?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Four yes, one abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
Okay, 4N is a proclamation for Women's History Month for March 2023. And I want to read that proclamation. Whereas during March, we celebrate the significant contributions of women in history, culture, and society at large, including the many women whose contributions have been unrecorded. Whereas adopted by Congress in 1987 as a month-long celebration, it traces its roots back to a staged protest of women workers against factory conditions in New York in March 1857. Whereas women constitute the largest population in the United States at 168 million, but have not always been included in the pages of history. Whereas they have fought tirelessly for equality and justice, securing voting rights for some women in 1920 and all women in 1965. Whereas, although there has been tremendous progress, we recognize more work is to be done. Although the gender pay gap has narrowed, women only earn 82 cents for every dollar a man earns. Whereas despite the continuous struggle, we celebrate the strength and fortitude of women in our community. Whether serving in elected positions locally or across the country, their leadership, innovation, and ingenuity have made us stronger as a collective. Whereas during the month of March, the City of West Des Moines recognizes the resolve, compassion, and ingenuity of women and the countless contributions they have made to our community. Now, therefore, I, Russ Trimble, Mayor of the City of West Des Moines, do hereby designate March 2023 as Women's History Month, and I call upon the residents of West Des Moines to recognize the daily contributions of women in our lives. Okay, can we get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 5, old business. Item 5A, amend city code to adjust stormwater fees and charges, ordinance for the second reading, waiver of third reading, and adoption in final form. As I mentioned, we've got an ordinance for approval of the second reading, waiver of the third, and adoption in final form. Amending the city code to adjust the stormwater fees and charges to correct an error that was inadvertently made when we originally passed the ordinance. There are no outstanding issues, and there's no change from the previous reading, which was approved unanimously at our last council meeting with Councilwoman Hardman absent.
Move consideration of the second reading.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Five yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa by amending Title IV, Chapter 8B pertaining to stormwater management charges.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Motion to approve the third reading and adopt in final, or waive the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 6, public hearings. Item 6A, this is a time and place for a public hearing to consider amendment city code, amend Title 3, business and licensing, Title 8, building regulations, Title 9, zoning to modify regulations pertaining to short-term rentals to align with state code, initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
February 16th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
The Plan and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 6 yes with 1 absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the ordinance amendment.
Okay, anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6A, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing nobody moving in the audience, anybody online that would like to address the council on item 6A, please hit *6 to unmute yourself and give us your name and address for the record. Okay, hearing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. We've got an ordinance amendment for approval, the first reading. There are no outstanding issues, and this was also approved unanimously by the Development and Planning City Subcommittee.
Move consideration of the first reading.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
We got a question on this.
Yes, sir.
How does this pertain to Airbnbs?
This is basically what we're doing is we passed a law way back when, essentially making it such that it wasn't legal to have Airbnbs and VRBOs in the city of West Des Moines.
Right.
And what we're doing, the state legislature went in and preempted us and made some changes affecting how we're able to regulate Airbnbs or whether or not we're able to regulate them. So this is just aligning our ordinance with state code.
So what you're saying is then that Airbnbs do not have rental certificates? Because this says that one of the changes is that they can be inspected, but no rental certificates issued.
Well,
Dick, do you want to answer that one?
yeah, I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. I just had a conversation with Lynn right before that because that came up. We do inspect them, and they are rental inspected, but they don't have a formal certificate issued. So,
Why is that?
well, Lynn, this is what we were talking about an hour ago.
What's the, it's still a rental, so I'm not understanding why we wouldn't have a rental certificate.
Lynn Tweet, Director of Development Services. We've taken the approach seeing we cannot charge the fee for it. We don't issue an actual physical certificate for it. We do the inspection, basically life safety measures, but that's really all we're inspecting when we go out for these.
Okay, but by our rental ordinance, if there's a problem property, we can withdraw their rental certificate and they can't rent the property. So if you don't have a rental certificate with an Airbnb, there's nothing to withdraw. So if you've got a problem Airbnb, of which we've had, I mean, that's why we started the ordinance, was because we had some problem Airbnbs. Now what teeth do we have?
Yeah. Most of the problems that we run into with the Airbnb are nuisance matters. So their parking, their noise, their lights, which are not really part of your rental certificate inspection. So we would handle them a different way. You would have to approach them from a nuisance violation rather than just a failure of their rental certificate. So,
Right, but it was my understanding that if you've got a rental certificate, so if you've got a house that you rent on a year-to-year basis, and you've had multiple calls, and I don't remember now how many calls it takes within a year, we can declare that a nuisance property and withdraw the rental certificate. What teeth do we have with a nuisance Airbnb?
my understanding with the state regulation, we don't have a lot of teeth. We can try to get them to correct it. We can talk with them and try to get them to, whoever the owner is. That is why we had that owner has to be there provision. That has been since taken away. So a lot of our teeth, a lot of our enforcement has been taken away by the state.
But does the state tell us that we can't issue a rental certificate? That's my point.
I worked on this a couple years ago, Kevin, on behalf of the League of Cities, because there were some cities that did want to regulate the number of overall units within a city that could be operating as an Airbnb. Think of college towns, for example, and so they'd only have a certain amount of, I don't know if it's certificates or licenses or permits, but whatever the regulatory item was. And the goal of that was to eliminate the ability, the goal from the state's perspective, or at least the folks that were running the legislation at the time, the goal was to restrict the ability of a local community to regulate the number of units. And so we'd have to probably go back and look at it specifically, but my understanding of the intent was to take away the ability of a city to identify the number.
I'm not talking about regulating the number that you can have.
Well, I get that, I'm sorry, but I think.
But without a rental certificate.
We don't have that leverage to say, all right, if you have 3 nuisances in a year, we're going to pull your certificate.
Right.
All we have is the 3 nuisances in a year. We can enforce that through a separate ordinance that says, all right, you were noisy or this or that, you're convicted, or, you pled guilty, somehow you've been adjudicated. We can only charge you with that. We can't say, all right, now because you've done that, now you can't rent this out as a rental. That's what we lose.
But that's not something we can help. That's something that
That's
state law doesn't allow us to.
state mandated that they've, I'm sorry.
So we can't
They've circumvented our ability to do that.
Okay, so this is.
States, to answer my question, the state says we cannot issue rental certificates.
Yeah, that's how the code reads.
That's the way we've interpreted the code.
So
for
we are
short-term
doing an
rentals.
inspection to make sure that it complies with the building code requirements and the inspections. But if they're noisy and they're having a party every Friday night, we can't say you're going to lose your rental ability to rent that. We can only charge them for the noise that they create, under the nuisance code or something like that, or parking violations. They're parking too many people in the street, they get a parking violation. We can't say, all right, you've done this, so you're losing your certificate.
Yep.
I'd like to see a copy of that code.
Yeah, if there's a way that we can still require a rental certificate without violating state law, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying restrict the number of Airbnbs we have in the city.
Right.
But I think we
You're
need to
saying
have
just give
some
them a
way
rental.
to,
Rental.
a rental certificate to have some teeth in.
Yeah.
We'll take another look at the code and see what we get with legal.
But we could always, we could take it to a formal adjudication before a court to say that this guy's not complying with the rental code, with the building code and the safety codes, he's not in compliance, and we can enforce it that way. But I know
But noise and whatever doesn't have anything to do with building codes or
Right.
safety codes.
Right, so
So
we can
we
enforce
can't-
that separately, but we can't pull their certificate because they've been noisy too many times in a year. you know.
Because they don't have a certificate. I
That's
guess
what I'm
if you
saying. I
guys
think we
could,
need to figure out a way to have a certificate issued, so.
the good thing is what we're trying to do is we have to update our ordinance to comply with state law, and that's what we're trying to do here. But I think Councilman Trevilian makes a good point, and if you guys can get together between now and March 20, that this is just the first reading of the ordinance, and try to figure out whether or not we can allow, require rental certificates. If we can, let's do that. But if you guys can let us know by that time. And
I think it'd be something separate from that, but with the same effect that if you've got so many violations, maybe you're not, I don't know exactly how we can do it, but yeah, they put a roadblock in front of us
You
as far
got
as.
2 weeks to work on it.
yeah, if you could.
Maybe
Bring
a
it-
month.
Yeah, bring it back to us and we'll go. But in the meanwhile, I suggest we pass this and move it forward. And then if we need to amend it in the second reading, we can. So, all right. So has it been moved and seconded?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, yeah,
Any more
we
discussion?
did.
We had a motion
sorry.
and a
Okay,
second.
we do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion before we vote? Again, just trying to comply with state law. Okay, please vote.
Four yes, one no. An ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, Title III Business and Licensing, and Title VIII Building Regulations, and Title IX Zoning pertaining to short-term rentals.
Okay,
Move approval of the first reading.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Four yes, one no.
Okay, item 6B. This is a time and place for a public hearing to consider the South 81st Street Urban Renewal Plan initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
February 24th, 2023, in the Des Moines Register.
Have there been any written comment to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience that would like to address the council on item 6B, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, hit *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. We've got a resolution for approval of South 81st Street Urban Renewal Plan. There are no outstanding issues, and this was approved unanimously by the Finance and Administration City Subcommittee. Does somebody want to move approval of the resolution?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, we've been talking about this in FNA when it comes to Stagecoach going through. Certainly, Stagecoach is going to be an important thoroughfare as it goes, especially to the southwestern portion of the city. So, as we've talked about that, we've been looking on ways to make sure that developers and the city can work together so we can get this road. Because I know the residents who live down in the southwestern portion of Ward 3. Can have easier access to the rest of the city and plus considering future development in the super block area, it's going to be really necessary. So I know staff has done a great job working with developers to try to figure out the best approach when it came to reimbursement, and this urban renewal will help with that. So
Been a lot of conversation about this.
there has been.
So.
Great, thank you guys for your work on it, appreciate it. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 6C. This is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider amendment number 13 to the amended and restated Mills Parkway Urban Renewal Plan initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
February 24th, 2023, in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6C, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit *6, you know the routine. Okay, not seeing any movement at all. I don't want to jump the gun here, but not seeing any movement at all. Not hearing anybody. I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. We have got a resolution amending the or for amendment number 13 to the amended and restated Mills Parkway Urban Renewal Plan, and we've got an ordinance for approval of the first reading, amending the Mills Parkway Tax Increment Financing District. We've got to take those separately. Does somebody want to move approval of the resolution?
Move approval of the resolution.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, somebody want to move approval of the consideration of the first reading of the ordinance?
Motion to consider the first reading.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance amending ordinance numbers 1384, 1560, 1740, 1800, 1824, 2014, 2072, 2314, 2427, and 2466, providing that general property taxes levied and collected each year on property located within the amended Mills Parkway urban renewal area in the city of West Des Moines be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to, and indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the amended Mills Parkway urban renewal area.
That was a lot. Doug? You
That
want
was a lot. That was a lot. Motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 6D. This is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider Raccoon River pedestrian bridge at Raccoon River Park, initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
February 17th, 2023, in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience would like to address the council on item 6D, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, hit star 6 to unmute yourself. Okay, hearing and seeing no one.
Maybe somebody's.
Hearing a beep. Hold on. Going to give it a second. Hit star 6 to unmute yourself if you're online and you want to talk about the Raccoon River pedestrian bridge. I know a lot of people are excited about it. Okay. Hearing no one, I believe. Going once. Going twice. Okay. I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. And we've got 2 resolutions and a motion, which we can take at the same time. There are no outstanding issues, and this was approved unanimously by the Public Services City Subcommittee.
Motion to approve the resolutions and the motion.
Second.
Okay? Is there any discussion?
No, I just want to add, this has been a lot of work by staff putting this together. And a lot of folks have, I'm very excited about this. It reminds me of the bridge that was built over the Des Moines River up by Madrid, Iowa. And this is the kind of thing that really makes a difference in, you know, the recreational capabilities of this town and city. It's a great project, and it's not going to get any cheaper. So I think we move forward. Thanks for the recommendations.
No doubt about it. Thanks for the comments. Okay, Councilwoman Hardman.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I too think, and I don't want to steal your word, game changer, because that's your term.
I got to change. I'm going to transformational next.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, it is transformational, and it is going to add such a sense of, I don't know, just grandness and whatnot in that park. And you go by, and when you're walking the park on a nice day, people are taking pictures of what the renderings look like and where is it going to go and whatnot. So this is going to be just, as others have said, phenomenal, phenomenal addition to West Des Moines.
Indeed. So many thanks to go around. I mean, certainly Parks and Rec and everybody in that department. Sally, I know the work that you and everybody have put in has been fantastic. I want to thank the Great Outdoors Foundation, because when we were just starting to really solicit really donations for this to happen, they were really helpful in getting that started as well. And especially the individual donors, whether it be businesses who've donated. I know many corporations have donated. I know a lot of people have donated, but I really want to thank the individual donors, and not just the ones who have donated a great number of dollars, because they might have their names will be recognized on the bridge, which is fantastic. But I know that people have given $10, people have given $20, people have given very, very small amounts relatively, and I do want to thank those folks as well, because everybody's pitching in to make a difference so we can have a great pedestrian bridge, which is going to be marvelous.
I agree. Any donation counts, and it means a lot. Mid-American Energy, their donation, Theme pedestrian bridge, we couldn't do it without them. Polk County, former Congresswoman Cindy Axney, who got us $1 million. So many people have contributed to this. So many people have worked so hard. The Friends of West Des Moines Parks and Recreation, so many great people have worked so hard to get meetings with individual donors to talk to them about it. We've raised a lot of money. The Great Outdoor Foundation, same Parks and Rec Board, Parks and Rec Department. It's just been an unbelievable group effort, and it is going to be transformational. It's going to go over the Raccoon River. It's going to connect the city park to a state park. It's eventually going to connect into the Great Western Trail and open up miles and miles of trails for everybody to ride on. So thank you to the Great Outdoors Foundation and Parks and Rec and everybody that's had something to do with this project. Okay, any discussion? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
5 yes.
Sally, what a great project to end your time with West Des Moines on.
Absolutely. And council people, if you are not speaking, please mute your microphones, if you will. Moving on, I'm sorry. Item 6E, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider the 2023 street reconstruction program. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
February 17th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience that would like to address the council on item 6E, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, not having a lot of audience participation tonight, which is fine. I'm going to declare the public hearing closed, and we've once again got 2 resolutions in a motion, which we can take together. There are no outstanding issues, and this item was also approved unanimously by the Public Services City Subcommittee.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this one? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 6F, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider Walnut Creek floodgates repair initiated by the City of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
February 17th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6F, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, I don't want to act too fast, but seeing and hearing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. And again, we've got 2 resolutions in motion, which we can take at the same time. There are no outstanding issues. And once again, this was also approved unanimously by the Public Services City Subcommittee, who has done a lot of work on this. So,
Move approval.
Second.
okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 6G, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider Valley Junction Alley Improvements Phase 6 and 7, initiated by the City of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
February 17th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6G, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself and do the same. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Keeping it going like the last few, we've got 2 resolutions in a motion we can take together at the same time. There are no outstanding issues. And once again, this was approved unanimously by the Public Services City Subcommittee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 7, new business. Item 7A, plat of survey parcels 23-2, 23-3, and 23-21, 34097 V Place. Approve plat of survey to create 3 parcels, initiated by Nick Williams. What was that? We have got a resolution for approval and release of the plat of survey and acceptance of deed for V Place right-of-way. There are no outstanding issues on this, but there are two conditions of approval. One, that this plat of survey is only being done for transfer of ownership, and that any future public improvements, payment of fees, and provisions of legal documents or agreements are the responsibility of the landowners. And number two, that any further subdivision of parcels 23-2 and 23-3 be done through the city's subdivision process. Somebody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? I know Mr. Williams is sitting down front if anybody has any questions.
Oh, wait, I'm just really,
He's got one that's sleeping.
the young gentleman is a trooper. This city council meeting can be incredibly boring, but a trooper.
Okay, hearing none, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 7B, Amendment City Code, Title 3, Business and Licensing, Chapter 2, Beer and Liquor Control, Section 5, Investigation Procedures, Section B, to align with the amendments to Iowa Code Section 123. We've got an ordinance for approval of the first reading, and there are no outstanding issues.
Motion to consider the first reading?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
5 yes. An ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title 3 Business and Licensing, Chapter 2 Beer and Liquor Control.
Motion to approve the first reading?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 8, receive, file, and or refer. We have no items to receive, file, or refer. Item 9, other business, other matters. Are there any other matters that any council person would like to raise at this time?
Well, I just wanted to say one thing. Just really want to give credit to Tom Hatton because this award that we have here, I mean, certainly we have amazing departments, we have amazing staff. The department heads do a fantastic job. But Tom, as the leader of the city manager of the city, I want to really recognize you for just doing amazing work because you lead an awesome team, and that takes an awesome leader as well. So thank you, Tom.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Very well said. I wish
Ditto.
I wish your wife recognized how great you are, just like we do.
Leave Tina out of it, gee.
All right. Any other matters that any person would like to bring up at this point? You do have your legislative analysis here. And again, thank you to Councilman Trevilian and Councilman McKinney, as well as Deputy City Manager Jamie Letzring for being on that legislative committee and keeping track of all the stuff that's going on up there. So, okay, hearing no other business to come before the City Council,